Hey, welcome back to Hardware Unboxed for another episode of Unboxing Boxes. As you can see, we've got 5 boxes here. There's 2 rather large boxes, and the large boxes usually deliver some pretty good stuff, so fingers crossed. Actually, I'm really hoping my RX 580 is in one of these boxes. I've got a couple of RX 580s on the way, or I've been promised a couple of them. I know I'm quite late to the party on that one, but it's kind of a good thing because usually with the day one coverage, it's really rushed. You have a couple of days to get the content together, and I'm sort of starting to shy away from it, to be honest with you guys. I hope that doesn't make the channel any less relevant, but I just really getting over the rushed content that isn't quite as good as what we could do if we had a week or so. So with the RX 580 stuff, I'm going to take probably about a week from now to get that online for you guys to watch. I want to test the RX 580 in a massive, probably be something like a 20-minute long video compared to the new GTX 1060, the refresh model with the 9 gigabits per second memory. And at least well over 20 games, at least 25 games I'll compare at 2 resolutions, and I'll look at a heap of other stuff as well. So very in-depth review there that should be well worth waiting for and well worth watching. That's the hope anyway. Also, I mentioned in a previous video, I have set up the Patreon account now for Hardware Unboxed to try and help with the revenue stream now that YouTube's sort of fallen apart there with the AdSense. And what I've done with that is to give you guys something that's a bit exclusive, a bit unique for your $1 a month, apart from the live stream content that I am doing with Brian over at Tech City, so that's pretty cool as well. But I thought for this RX 580 comparison, you guys usually have an opinion on what games you'd like to see included or excluded from the comparison. So a few days ago, I made a post with all the games, the 20 plus games that I propose should be included, and you guys can say which games you want to add or remove, or if there's any other sort of requirements you'd like, feel free to make a post about it on the Patreon page. So I'll put a link to that in the description, and if you do want to pay $1 to be part of that per month, then feel free to. If not, then that's fine, you don't have to. You can just keep watching the high quality content that comes on the channel. Alright, so anyway, enough of me waffling on. I will get into the boxes because you guys are wanting to see what goodies we have this time. Alright, who's this from? Palit. So we're pretty well guaranteed a graphics card here, though it's not going to be an RX 580 because they're an Nvidia partner. So I'm not sure what they've got for us. They didn't inform me of anything being sent, so total surprise here. We have some bubble wrap. Ooh, okay. This could be good. This could be good indeed. Can you see what's in there? Oh, I did not know I was getting one of these. Ooh, the Super Jetstream GTX 1080 Ti. That's going to put a smile on your face every time. It's a good day when you get a GTX 1080 Ti. Ooh, alright. It looks like a Palit graphics card so far. Oh, gee, it's a big sucker. Okay. That is a seriously beefy graphics card. Their 1080 models were big. I don't know if this is any bigger, but it's mighty big either way. Check out the thickness of that thing. I really like the neutral color scheme they've gone for. As you'd expect, it has RGB lighting. This is at least RGB here, and I think there's some lighting behind the fans. I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to plug it in to find out. I will be reviewing this, of course, probably next week, if not the week after. There'll be no later than the week after, I promise. But yeah, that is an impressive looking graphics card. It's got a pair of 8-pin connectors, but other than that, I don't really know too much about the card. I don't know what the power phase design's like. It looks quite impressive from here. Let's see. Looks like there's at least 10 phases, but we'll find out for the official review anyway. Like I said, I wasn't expecting this card. It's a total surprise. Very nice surprise, I have to say. Anyway, I'll stop admiring the card and I'll move on to the next thing, but we'll look at that again in detail shortly. Let's go for this. Since we've had a very exciting unboxing there, we'll go for this little package from Logitech. Could be a mouse. Hard to say, we'll find out. It's not going to be a GTX 1080 Ti, I can assure you that. Okay, we have a little box inside. the UE Wonderboom. UE is a Logitech brand, and they make some very, very cool Bluetooth speakers. We've seen quite a few of their speakers on the channel over the years. They've all been very good, and they're actually all still in use. I've given most of them to various family members, and they're really enjoying them. Wow, it's like a hand grenade, this thing. Very cool speaker. I know why they call it their pint-size speaker now. But yeah, the usual, it'll come in a heap of range of different colours, but I love the material they use on these speakers. It's very cool with the rubber and stuff as well. And this is IPX7, I think, IPX7 rated, so that means it's up to 1 metre. It can be submerged up to 1 metre for something like 30 minutes without failing, so that's very cool. And it also floats, so if you have it on a boat or something and you do drop it over the side, it isn't going to sink to the bottom of the ocean. You can just scoop it up off the surface, so that's kind of cool. On the back here, USB port, presumably for charging it up. Obviously, you've got your power volume up and down. Pairing button, probably the power on button as well. Though there's another button here as well, so maybe that's the pairing button. Maybe that's just the power button. We'll find out in a minute. But yeah, that's a very, very cool little speaker. They claim up to 10 hours of runtime per charge. That's very cool. And another really impressive feature is a 100-foot wireless Bluetooth range. So you can take your phone or whatever device you're streaming music from quite far from the speaker without it cutting out. That's cool. Okay, well, it's got some battery charge. Found the speaker straight away on my Note 4. Actually hoping to replace my Note 4 very soon. I've got a Galaxy S8 Plus on the way. I was hoping it would get here today, but it hasn't. Alright, so anyway, it's connected. Let's try some music. Wow, that's really cool. I like how the audio is really 360 degree. It comes out from all angles. No matter where you position yourself around the speaker, it sounds exactly the same, which is quite impressive. I don't know how the speakers are orientated within the unit, but amazing 360 degree. Yeah, they advertise as 360 degree audio, and it very much is. Actually, I'll check how much this thing sells for, because it's very impressive. Okay, so for the quality of this speaker, I think the price is very reasonable. It's 100 US or 160 Aussie, which seems a bit pricey for a smallish Bluetooth speaker, but the audio is very loud. I love the 360 degree sort of audio sound. And if it's got a 10-hour battery, which it's advertised to have, that's very cool and good range. So I've looked at the UE Roll, the Boom, a few other ones, and they've all been fantastic. And like I said, they've been heavily used by various family members, and they love them. So very cool speaker. Don't know, I probably won't do a dedicated review on this, but I'll report back in a few months and let you guys know how it's going. Probably do a few submersion tests and things like that. Yeah, very cool. I love it. Alright, next on the menu, let's check out the biggest box we've got here. Okay, so we got a heap of anti-static bags. Wow, that's a lot of anti-static bags. Okay. Okay, so we got some ASRock stuff. ASRock have just padded this box out with anything they could get their hands on. So we have some old brochures for their Extreme 170, their 100 series boards, so they're no longer relevant. But this is very, very relevant. Ah, so cool. Alright, the ASRock AB350 Gaming K4. You guys have been begging me for B350 reviews, and what I think I might do, I've got that Asus Prime board, I've got the Gigabyte Gaming 3 board, I've now got this. If I can get my hands on an MSI board in the next week, I reckon it's probably time to do a 4-way B350 rather, board roundup. That could be very cool. And that'll answer the questions that you guys have been asking me non-stop for B350 content. So I think that's in the works. I might even do a dedicated review for this board as well. But yeah, let's have a quick look at it, shall we? Ooh, I nearly knocked that Titan, sorry, that GTX 1080 Ti card off the desk. All right. Wow, that's a really nice looking board actually. I'll get some B-roll of it so you guys can see some close-up shots of it. Yeah, very cool looking board. It's much more, I think, how would you say, tasteful than the Asus and Gigabyte boards. While they look quite fine, they're also black and red themed. They're sort of a bit crazy with the PCB. There's lines and things going everywhere, which will probably appeal to some. But this is a bit more neutral, a bit more tasteful in my opinion. Just a few red highlights here and there, which really set it off. And it's interesting to note that it does have a pair of M2 slots, which is very rare for a B350 board. At a guess, I would say this secondary slot here, if you use that, probably this secondary PCI Express slot, it looks like it's wired for 4 times bandwidth, that would get eliminated, disabled. So yeah, I would say if you use both of the M.2 slots, only the primary PCIe x16 slot will be active, and that's got like MSI's steel armor stuff, but obviously it's not MSI's, it's ASRock's. They are all sort of doing that now. And I suppose if you're going to chuck something like this in there, you'd want that extra support because that will bend that slot quite easily. Obviously to be supported by the case here, but still you can see how massive that graphics card is, and it has to weigh, it's easily over 1 kilo in weight. But anyway, I'll take that out. Yeah, it's a really high quality looking B350 board here. It looks like we've got, there's 6 there, 3. It looks like it's a 9-phase power delivery system on this one. And we have the Realtek 892, so that must be the ALC 892 codec. So that's probably got the Cinema 3, Creative Cinema 3 support as well. So that'll be a really good audio solution. Now I can see that it's on an isolated section of the PCB, so it's probably got all the usual sort of sound purity stuff that ASRock offer. I like how these SATA ports, although there's only 4 of them, they are orientated really nice and neat, and I like how they're all individual, so that will make cable management really good. Of course, you have an extra 2 here, which will be connected to a third-party controller of some description. It's probably under this heatsink here. You'll have to wait for the review before you get those details. And plenty of connectivity around at the I/O panel. You've got a pair of legacy USB 2s, a couple of USB 3s, USB 3.1, Type-C. The only thing missing from here would probably be a display port, but I imagine pretty much all you guys will be using a discrete graphics card anyway. Yeah, very, very nice looking board. Actually, I'm not going to wait for the review to tell you guys. I'm quite keen to see how much this board's worth. Okay, wow, that's pretty impressive. The board is only, well, it's selling right now on Newegg for $105 US, and it's available in quite a few different outlets in Australia for $155 Aussie. So that's a really good price for what looks to be quite a high-end B350 motherboard. Actually, I was so excited by that B350 board, I forgot there's another board in the box. Which is interesting because this is a very, very good board. I know it to be a very good board because I got it about 6 weeks ago. The X370 Gaming K4. Actually, I'm not sure I do have this board. The X370 Gaming, I think I've got the Gaming K4. Well, I see this has got 5 gigabit Ethernet, so that's pretty awesome. Hang on, I'll be back in one moment. Alright, I'm back. Now, I can't even keep track of all the boards I have. So X370 Gaming K4, that's the board I opened and showed on the channel before Ryzen was even released. And I was going to commit this board to a build very soon. So anyway, let's just see what we have here. Okay, well, I definitely don't have this board. And my other board definitely doesn't come with a pre-installed Ryzen CPU, so that's a nice little bonus. 1600X chip. Well, thank you very much, ASRock. Well, I didn't think anything was going to top that B350 board, but this certainly has. What an awesome looking board. Wow. This is probably the most extreme AM4 motherboard I've seen yet. It looks like there's a 16-phase VRM on this board, so wow. And yeah, obviously the usual retail boards won't come with a 1600X on there, but that's pretty cool. Well, it looks like this board really does have all the bells and whistles, which is nice to see for an AM4 board. It's good to see we've got all the sort of same features you'd expect to find on like a Z270 board, for example. So we've got the dual PCIe x16 slots, though the second one is only wide for 8 times, which makes sense. We've got the Sound Blaster Cinema 3 audio, which has, again, all the bells and whistles that you'll find on the Intel equivalents. Pair of one Ultra M.2, another M.2 slot. What do we got here? We got 10 SATA ports, so that's plenty there. We got a pair of 2 USB 3.0 headers. Fair bit of connectivity here. Nice to see that 5 gigabit Ethernet port there. I really hope very soon, hopefully this year, we get some good networking gear for that sort of stuff. So some 5 gigabit switches at a reasonable price. Not holding my breath, but that would be cool. So yeah, in all my spare time, I'll probably have to put together a review of this board also. So, don't know where I'm going to fit that in, but yeah, thank you very much, ASRock. Keen to check it out. Well, this has been an eventful unboxing series so far. We've seen already a lot of very cool products. What do I go for, the yellow one or the brown one? Let's get this yellow one out of the way. Here we go. Oh, yes. Finally, an RX 580 graphics card. My work can now begin. So this is the Sapphire Nitro Plus edition. Again, I know nothing about this product, had no idea this actual particular model was coming, but let's have a bit of a look at it. Okay, so it looks a lot like the other Nitro cards I've seen in the past. Ooh, okay, it's got a fairly in-your-face backplate though, and it is very, very heavy for a card of sort of this size. They look thicker than 8mm, those heat pipes. But they're at least 8mm anyway. There's 2 really big heat pipes. It looks like a pair of 6mm heat pipes in the bottom. Check out that backplate though. So it's a silver, grey and black design. A lot of vents and things cut out of it. Looks extremely aggressive. Yeah, that's really nice. Plenty of connectivity around the backside, so it looks like we've got a pair of HDMIs, pair of display ports, and a dual-link DVI output as well. Obviously a pair of 100mm fans, which will do a good job of keeping that heatsink cool, and it really is a massive heatsink on this card. It's really impressive. I can't believe how heavy it is for such a small card. It's actually not that much lighter than this thing. You can see this actually, they're not that different in terms of size. This one's clearly bigger, but it's not that much bigger and it's not that much heavier for a 1080 Ti. So I expect this card to run really nice and cool. Looks like this Sapphire logo here, or branding, will light up. Probably RGB. Possibly the same for the fans, I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm very keen to plug that in and have a go. Do they talk about clock speeds anywhere? Not on the box. I'll have to do a bit of research on that. Yeah, not sure what the clock speeds are, but it's obviously an overclocked model, so you can expect that Sapphire has squeezed a little bit more out of the card at factory, and you'll probably be able to squeeze a little bit more out yourself. But yeah, very excited to chuck this in a test system and get testing shortly. Alright, that leaves us with one box. Oh, it's a very heavy box, so hopefully it has some good stuff for us. We've already done very well out of this episode though, so not sure it can top what we've already received. Okay. Well, maybe it will. Now we're talking. A new Aorus brand RX 580. So we have not one RX 580, but now finally I have 2. So I could do some crossfire testing if I wanted to. That's cool. What else? Oh. Oh, okay, brace yourselves. You ready? Da, 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 da. Damn. I was not expecting either of these cards. I had no idea Gigabyte sent these. I've been asking for one of these for so long. So many guys have got their hands on it. Brian from Tech City got his before me and he's been gloating ever since. And I've been dying to get my hands on one. It's such an awesome looking card. And I have one. Awesome. Well, I'll probably be prioritizing the review for this card while I'm testing an RX 580 for that big comparison. But yeah, I'm not going to end it there. Let's take a look at these cards. I can't help myself. I do want to go wrap this up and get benchmarking, but I can't not show you guys these cards. If you've made it this far in the video, you deserve to see them. Wowee. Oh, that's so cute. Look, it's got a little copper insert. Now that's actually a really cool looking card. They've used plastic for the fan shroud rather than the thin aluminium, which I don't actually mind. It's probably a little bit more durable than the aluminium. The aluminium seems to bend quite easily when you push it, whereas the plastic just pops back. Does the same job really. Get all this stuff off it. There you go, I'll give you guys a good look at the card, but that's really nice, that card. Don't think it's as heavy. It's nowhere near as heavy as the Sapphire card, but having said that, the cooling looks very substantial anyway. Again, it looks like there's at least 4 copper heat pipes that run the length of the card. Multiple heat sinks in there, don't know how well you guys can see that. Here's the Sapphire model for comparison, if I can pick them both up. So sort of similar size. The Sapphire definitely seems a bit more weighty, so I'll have to chuck them on the scales and see, but the Gigabyte card looks like it's about 3 centimeters longer. You can see that the cooler overhangs the PCB by about 4 centimeters or so. And it's got that, yeah, that cute little copper insert there, which doesn't do a whole lot, I don't think. It's got a thermal pad on the back of it. But yeah, it'll make sure there's no heat trapped on the back side of the PCB behind the GPU. I'm not sure if Gigabyte are making any bold claims with this model, but it looks cool anyway. Very cool indeed. And then there'll be some RGB lighting here. You got your fan stop there. And it looks like there's some lighting here as well, which is cool, because you usually only get that on the higher end models. So yeah, very nice RX 580 card there. Now, time for this guy. Well, the box itself is very heavy, so I'm sure the card inside is also very heavy. It is indeed very heavy. Check that out. That is a serious graphics card. So it looks very much like the 1080 Aorus card that I looked at probably about a month or so ago now, probably a bit longer than that actually, 6 weeks ago. Checked out the Aorus 1080 Extreme Edition, and this is the 1080 Ti Extreme Edition. So other than the upgraded memory and GPU, I'd say the card is pretty much the same product, which is a good thing because the other card was probably one of the best 1080s I'd seen. And you still have that massive copper insert in the back, which, if anything, just looks really, really cool in my opinion. Looks really nice sitting in your case like that, and you've got some LED lights glowing across it. It makes for a very cool effect, which I did show in that review. And yeah, as I mentioned, Brian got this before me, the bugger, and he was blown away by it. Said it was much faster than the Founders Edition card, ran cooler, overclocked better, had more headroom in the power targets and stuff like that. And just all around a very awesome card. I don't think the premium's too steep either. I think we're only paying, I think it's about 50 US more over the cheapest 1080s, which use like the reference cooler. So for $50 US when you're already spending 700, that's not too bad considering what you get in this card. And these are actually both very heavy. Here's a bit of a technical analysis. Ooh, the Gigabyte card might be slightly heavier, but they're both well over a kilo, I can tell you that much. I'd guess somewhere like 1,300 to 1,400 grams, somewhere around there. Don't know if it'd tip the 1.5 kilos, but yeah, very, very heavy graphics cards indeed. And they will put your PCI Express slot to the test. Well, I almost wasn't going to do this episode today. I was just going to open these boxes and get on with the RX 580 testing. But I'm glad I did, because there was some very, very cool hardware inside. Plenty of graphics cards. It's probably the best unboxing in terms of what I've received, I've done on the channel ever. So some very cool motherboards from ASRock, plus that bonus Ryzen 5 CPU, which I will be using in a build. So thank you very much, ASRock, for that. Greatly appreciated. And yeah, plenty of very cool graphics cards. I can't believe any day you get a pair of 1080 Ti's, it's a pretty good day. You're doing well there. Of course, the only downside to all this is I have a heap of work to do now. I already had a lot of work. Now I have a lot more, but it'll all be fun, and hopefully you guys enjoy the content. I'll throw up a poll. You guys can let me know which one of these two RX 580 cards you think I should use in that comparison. Probably leaning towards the Gigabyte card at this point, but I will test both of them and see if there is any actual difference in terms of performance, because I will be testing out of the box cards, so factory overclock cards against factory overclock cards. I think the 1060 I'll be getting, I think, is the MSI Gaming X Plus model, but that hasn't arrived yet, so not entirely sure what new 1060 model I'll be getting. The old one, of course, was the EVGA for the win. I think I'm probably going to leave it at that. I don't know how long this episode's gone for at this point, but it feels like I've been doing this for the better half a day at this point. So that's it for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed all the very cool hardware that we got to unbox. I very much enjoyed it. Very excited about it all and can't wait to get testing. So, I'm your host, Steve. See you again next time, guys.